you are the best resource that the federal government has supplied for small business, and you're also the best kept secret. So my being here today is to help work on the idea of you're not just for startups, you're also for people that are in businesses and going through transitions to help clean up their act and move forward. Well, my name is Rick Crawford. I'm a certified master baker, number 113. The RPIA is a purchasing group that works on a unique value proposition owned by bakers, for bakers, and fortunately is on about a 20% growth curve right now. There's about 210 certified masters in the country now, and it is considered an honor to achieve it. It has an 80% failure rate, so it's not everybody does it. It takes almost 10 years to get it.
Jeez. And
the practical test is worse than excruciating. I found out by desperation and by accident. The desperation part of it is I was having trouble in my business, just undercapitalized and some rough areas in there. And so I was calling the SBA, and I actually called Washington. And Washington said, no, you really want SBDC, and where are you located again? And I told them, they said, fine, let me put you in touch with the director. Hold on just a moment. Next thing I know, a lady answers the phone, takes my information, asks what my problems were and why I felt like I needed some assistance. I explained, and she said, fine, somebody will be with you in about an hour. And I thought, okay. And in less than an hour, the phone rang, and you called and said, well, I had a cancellation. I can see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon. It was me that wasn't ready. You were ready. So we ended up meeting later that week and started delving into what my situation was, how to work out of it, and it made some progress. We had a series of meetings.
Yeah.
One was a basic evaluation of where we were and looking at our ratios and determining if we knew what the problems were. And when we kind of knew what the problem was, then what is your plan to fix it? And so we worked on several plans, and we had so many products going through R&D to try to get them to market, and it just tons of them. And finally, we had a product that was accepted, and the company was going to buy $6 million worth of it. We knew we didn't have enough working capital for that, so they agreed to pay us in 10 days.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, when it came down to the writing and my buying a new piece of equipment to do it and that kind of thing, 10 days changed back to 71 days. 71 days meant that we would have needed $1.1 million worth of working capital. And that was impossible to raise in the spring of 10. You didn't have anything to sell big enough, fast enough, and with the margins, if you had factored it, you would have never made anything. So it became a transition, and our relationship became a transition. We fought for months and looked like we were going to make it, and finally, a week before we closed, we said we couldn't make it anymore. The RPIA, which I helped found 10 years ago, I sent my resume to my partners and said, would you guys be willing to be my references, because I have to go out and get a real job. And in turn, what they did was 3 days later, they asked me to be on a conference call, and they offered me a job, which turned out to be great. So I was not unemployed for over a minute. Now, one of the ironic parts of this is that after working for over 40 years, because I had spent all my money in putting it back into the business and that kind of thing, I found out that had I not had a job, I was not eligible for unemployment. That was my reward for contributing everything back to the business. So we had a series of meetings then, and you broadened my scope in some areas and also gave me some coaching. I think, Larry, you were able to participate in a kind of been here, done that type experience and transferred in. And I remember you talked to me about teaching and said it's something I may want to consider. It's not steak money, but it's good bread and butter money. And sure enough, I started teaching last semester and got hired at a good fair rate and interesting class and worked that, taught my second class, and then you also mentioned that maybe one day that I would end up writing a book, which I kind of laughed about. And now I've been asked to write a textbook about bakery merchandising, how to open and start a bakery. And it's kind of nice that my chair of my department is the one that recommended me for that project. So I have consulting clients around the country now. My RPIA business is growing. I'm brokering for 2 companies, and I teach.
The plate's full?
Not only is it full, it's happy.
Yeah.
I came out of this losing a couple $1 million, and then through the act of the tax law, and it's all craziness, they turned around and gave me credits for between the state and the federal of about $1 million. So now I just need to earn that money so I can take advantage of those credits. So we're off to a good start. And we're also paying it forward. We're paying it forward in many ways, but we're going to have the first ever workshop seminar on for people how to get into the bakery business. It's something that's been talked about for 25 years. It's almost been a folklore type thing. Well, we're actually going to do it this fall in Chicago.
Good.
And we're hoping that SBDC is part of it. If you're new, sign up for their business plan online and get started with it. It will save you hours of work and it'll help bring you into focus. You can pay a consultant thousands and not get the true value. For existing businesses, look at your ratios. If you're not part of a peer group that is delving into this level, which frankly I don't know of one in the country that does, the SBDC is the cross between your CPA and your banker. It's kind of like getting that advice that would hurt if it's given in the wrong spot, and a chance to do something about it from a group that wants to see you succeed. Well, you are the best resource that the federal government has supplied for small business, and you're also the best kept secret. So my being here today is to help work on the idea of you're not just for startups, you're also for people that are in businesses and going through transitions to help clean up their act and move forward. I coach some of the best bakeries in the country, and they really don't know of your existence. Yet I have a friend right now who has a meeting this week in Oklahoma with the SBDC to help in the transition issue that he has. In 40 years of paying taxes, this is the best value I've ever received for my taxes. Because I figured since I'm a vet, I did my time to equal my defense.
Absolutely.
But as a benefit from the government, you know, small business my size doesn't get very many handouts. So getting the experience and being able to tap into your resources is pretty profound. And as people begin to learn more about your resources, you're going to find that you need more counselors. You're going to be very busy people.